Shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Akakadash. And Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father's true name, whom the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the name of the Heavenly Father's Son's true name, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Giving double honors unto the apostles and elders of great notes who taught me this truth. And shalom unto the elect. This video is for the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and the scattered Israelites all around the world. And I go into today's controversial news here that happened in Romania. And we know in Romania today is a lot of Israelites over there. If you see their way of doing things, and we believe through the Spirit that there are lots of Israelites over there, and so because of this, we can see Esau starting to sow the seeds of discord and chaos in that part of the European nation, and or in that part of Europe. And there's this issue of this Romanian far-right candidate who won this election back then, and he is anti-EU or anti-NATO, and he seeks to pull away his country away from the influence of US and the EU. And so because of that, like he won with the majority, but these people, it seems like the deep state or the new world order people send this order for the court of Romania to disannul a democratically held election. And so what happened is Esau is showing his true colors, that he truly is a hypocrite, because here lies a case where people have elected a duly elected leader. They've voted and elected a leader in a democratically held in a democratic country, and then all of a sudden the court just disannuls it. And so the whole world is watching that these people, they are all full of they are double-tongued and are hypocrites. And so I go into this because they go into this definition of a democracy, which is also part of the image of the beast, their way of doing things, that is of the NATO and EU or the Western nations. And so it reads: a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. And so that far-right man who won, he clearly won that election, but all of a sudden, because Europe doesn't because it doesn't support their views, the EU and US plotted to with the courts over there in Romania to disannul the election. And so I go ahead and play this video to give more details on this issue. And here it goes.
Now to Romania, where the Constitutional Court has annulled the results of last month's presidential elections, citing Russian interference. Now, this comes just days after Romanian authorities declassified documents that allege a coordinated online Russian campaign to promote the far-right candidate Calin Georgescu, who won the first round of voting. An upcoming runoff vote has been cancelled, and the court has ordered the election to be rerun. Romania's current president, Klaus Iohannis, says the country will remain solidly pro-NATO and pro-EU. His term ends on the 21st of December, but he'll now stay on until a new president is elected. Let's get more from journalist Mircea Barbu, who's in the Romanian capital, Bucharest. Welcome to DW. So let's start with the court's decision. Tell us more about that.
Well, the court decision was first and foremost shocking, if I dare to say, for most Romanians, and then confusing for a lot of the people who are actually voting in the diaspora. As we speak, the vote just ended there abruptly, but they were voting when the news hit the wires. The decision comes after a previous decision when the Constitutional Court actually validated the results for the first tour of presidential elections in Romania, but given the light of the intelligence service documents that were declassified by President Iohannis just a couple of days ago, these judges of the Constitutional Court decided today that there was enough evidence to cancel the election and order the Electoral Bureau to redo the whole process. And that might take a while, according to our sources, and the earliest that it will be possible, according to the legislation, but also to the process that this needs to go through, would possibly be March next spring.
Okay. So, the runoff was due to happen this weekend on Sunday. The other candidate in the runoff is Elena Lasconi from the centrist Save Romania Union Party. We'll hear her reaction to the court's decision and then come back to you.
This is the moment when the Romanian state trampled on democracy. God, truth, the Romanian people, and the law will prevail. It's not about me. The economy is collapsing. You are destroying democracy. You are leading the country into anarchy. We should have gone ahead with the vote. We should have respected the will of the Romanian people.
Now, Mircea, why is Elena Lasconi objecting to this election being rerun after she was beaten in what appears not to have been a fair fight?
Well, because a lot has changed, Phil, in Romania in the past week. Now, Lasconi has conducted a campaign where she warned her electorate that Russia might be meddling, interfering in our elections here in Romania. And a lot of voters that were undecided, especially the Social Democrat voters, Marcel Ciolacu, who lost the elections after just a narrow about 2,000 votes, 2,400 votes, decided to actually support Elena Lasconi. So she had a fair chance to win these elections based on the genuine concerns of Romanians who thought that Călin Georgescu, the candidate that triggered all this breaking news story in Romania today, might have lost the elections based on this genuine concern and fear of people, and again of the declassified documents from the Romanian intelligence service, who alleged that a state sponsored a campaign online, especially on TikTok, for Călin Georgescu. We're talking millions of euros that were put into this.
Okay, so from what you've said, it sounds like these allegations actually benefited her politically. Quick word then on the public reaction to these allegations of foreign interference.
Well, I'm actually standing in the middle of Bucharest. On my right, there's a Christmas market, and I just spoke with a few people. Most of them say that they're concerned about the allegations and the Russia's interference in elections, but they also say that the process, the voting, should have went ahead, and we should have had a vote on Sunday, so that way we can oust the Russian influence in a democratic way.
Okay, thank you for that. Very interesting. Journalist Mircea Barbu in Bucharest.
And so you have it there, and we can clearly see the hypocrisy of Esau's democracy system being exposed to the entire world, and I go into this precept here. Clearly, these people, their system is one of the worst in world history. I mean, this democracy thing is just a farce. If it doesn't go well for them, then they can just interfere whenever they want. And so I go into this first precept here, Habakkuk chapter 2 verses 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's Yahweh Ba'asham Hawshai's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spirit shall be on thy glory. Can see the Lord slowly but surely exposing Esau for who he truly is, and showing that he's a hypocrite and not someone to be taken seriously in this world at all. With what just happened in Romania, the whole world is pointing fingers and laughing and saying this so-called democracy that Esau trumps or trumpets about always, and he just goes around and then steps over it again, because the like I said in the definition, where democracy is where the people willfully vote for and elect their chosen representatives, but just when they did that, they just turned around and used the court to just quash the whole election results, and so people are just scratching their head like what's really going on. And so people are seeing Esau for who he truly is, and they are seeing him as a hypocrite and someone not to be taken seriously at all. And going into Isaiah chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 10 verses 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, like what the court just did there. People have just spent their time voting and doing all sorts of things to make sure they elect their representatives, and then these people this court just came up with this decree that which is unrighteous, by the way, that the election results choosing that man who is anti-NATO and EU and anti-America. They just disannul the result, saying that him winning doesn't mean anything, or is being cancelled. So again shows the hypocrisy of Esau, and then him being wicked, and surely people like that will have destruction upon their head, who always make unfair laws be placed upon the people or the masses. And I go into this last precept here. See Isaiah, Job 13:4. Job 13 chapter 4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. There, exactly. These people, they always, these Western nations led by Babylon the Great, US and the EU nations and all Western nations always like to harp on about democracy. You must select the leaders and so on. They go about spreading their doctrine about democracy, that is good, and yet when the people have elected their chosen or preferred leader, then they just turn around and then just disannul it, and so they are found to be fucking liars. That's what this truly means. And so the whole world is watching, and so Esau, I just thank the Lord Yahweh Ba'asham Hawshai for showing the so-called white man Esau for who he truly is. And so I end this lesson by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakakadash, and Shalom unto the elect. Shalom.